So the first thing you should hopefully notice here is that the verbs are changing as we go through these choices, and many people who haven't been practicing for their SAT might look at this and go, oh, the verbs are changing tense, right? It's about whether it's past, present, future, whatever. That's not what I'm going to look at first. I notice that these verbs are changing whether or not they are singular or plural. So it might be about the tense of the verbs, but it's better for us to think about singulars and plurals first, because if that rule is what's actually being tested, we might not need to think about the tense at all. So just going through, remember, singular verbs end in S. So evokes is the singular version of evoke. Are evoking is plural because are is plural. If it were singular, it would be is. Have is also plural. That would be singular as the word has. So again, plural. And then evoke, like I just said at the beginning, is the plural version of the word evoke because it's got no S. So S's we normally associate with plurals, but that's only on nouns. On verbs, it's kind of backwards. But you know this because if you were to make a simple sentence, you would say something like he evokes or they evoke. You wouldn't flip them, right? You wouldn't say they evokes or he are evoking. That would sound weird. And so our brain is really good at knowing what goes with what subject, what verb and subject go together. But when the SAT gives us sentences, they try to mix it up. So, but right now, the fact that only one of these is singular is a really strong indicator that it's probably choice A. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about with this rule, at this point, you could just pick A. It's a probably pretty solid bet. But let's see if we can prove it, because that would definitely be better. Praise Song for the Day, Elizabeth Alexander's 2009 inaugural poem, asserts that we cross dirt roads and highways to see what's on the other side. Alexander's use of we evokes Americans' collective efforts and shared desire to seek new opportunity. So it is evokes because this verb matches with this subject, the word use. Now that's weird because we don't think of that as like a noun, right? But it is in this case. The use of the word we is kind of like a thing. This person is using it. I hate to turn it into a verb, but that's basically what's going on. And notice it's the use, not the uses of the word we, right? So it's singular because it's one use. And so that is why we need the singular verb to agree with that singular subject. So there is a pretty intricate grammar rule going on here, but luckily, like I said, our brain is pretty good in simple situations of figuring out what the right word is. How do we do singular and singular subjects and singular verbs, how they go together? And the only thing I would recommend here is evaluating those answer choices before you get into the sentence, so that if it is a tricky version of this rule, you at least have a sense of what you've got to start. A lot of times with these subject-verb agreement questions, there will just be one choice that is different from the other three, and that's probably your answer. You still want to go through the process of proving it, but if you have to guess, that's a good solid guess, and then you can move on and have a pretty good bet on your hands for this kind of question.